Hi, everyone at home. Welcome to our first virtual exhibition reception for the 20th Sevier County Biennial Juried exhibition. While I wish that we could all be together in the gallery with snacks and wine, I'm really happy that we could at least do this virtually together. We're going to show y'all some footage of the gallery walkthrough while we get started today. And we're going to play the full gallery walkthrough at the end of the reception tonight. So if you're interested in seeing that, you can stay tuned and watch kind of the full run through of the space. This has been a wild and hard year for all of us, and Arrowmont is definitely no exception. This year has served to remind us that our Arrowmont community is truly where the magic is, even if we can't be together in person. So this is the 20th iteration of the Sevier County Biennial, meaning that this show has been happening for 40 years. And its mission has remained the same throughout, which is to proudly present an exhibition that recognizes and supports the incredible skill and talent of the artists and makers that call this region of Sevier County home. As a gallery coordinator, it brings me a lot of joy to say that after all the upgrades that we've made in our gallery space, this show is the very first one on our brand new walls and under our gorgeous new lighting, and the difference is wild. If you've ever been to our galleries, you'll be able to see the difference even in this video. And for those of y'all who haven't been to our space, I really hope that y'all can make an appointment to come see the show in person. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on. So I want to say thank y'all to everyone who's here and to the folks that couldn't make it. To all the folks who submitted to this show and have been submitting to this show for as long as it's been going on. To all of our sponsors who make this event possible, including Food City, Smart Bank, Robert Whittier, Hatcher's Cleaners, Emily B. Kyle, the Johnson family of restaurants, and Signmaster. I also would like to say an extra special thank you to Mary Thompson, who's joining us tonight. She's this year's guest juror, and she put together such a gorgeous exhibition that reflects the talent of this region. And I also want to say that it was really cool. We had 16 new folks submit to the show for the first time, which I think is the most, new folks that have submitted to this in a single year. And of those 16, 14 of them are in the show. So that's really, really cool. So on that note, I'm going to introduce Mary. So Mary Welch Thompson is an award-winning artist and second-generation basket weaver and member of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. Daughter of Geraldine Walking Stick and mother to Sarah, Mary is a link to 3 generations of basket weavers. She's best known for her signature woven baskets, inspired by her appreciation of her culture and her heritage. Her work is in universities, museums, and private collections, including those of music legend Merle Haggard and Senator Kay Hagan. Her work has been published in national publications. She has demonstrated and taught workshops throughout the region, including at Arrowmont. Mary is a veteran of the United States Air Force. She served 4 terms representing the tribal members in the legislative branch of tribal government. As a mom, a gardener, a potter, and a basket weaver, she continues to volunteer in the community and serves on national and local boards. Mary, thank you for being here with us. Would you like to speak a little bit to your experience working with me and working on this exhibition together?
Sure. It was great. I had fun. I got to look at different art forms, different mediums, appreciate the artists of the Appalachians and our area. And it was big fun for me.
It was fun to watch you work in there.
It was something new. It was a new experience. I appreciate having the opportunity to do so.
It's a hard job. It's very hard. I think we had almost 200 pieces submitted that you had to work through and kind of put together a show.
It was hard. It was really hard. I was like, just all of them, just put them all in. But I think I had, and my grandson was there kind of hanging out and paying attention too. And he's an upcoming artist. I guess he's hanging around me too much, but We had a good time there too.
Yeah, it was great to have all three of y'all here and looking at all of that work. So I think, I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I think out of almost 200 pieces that you picked about 94. But I think that out of all the people that submitted work, I think almost all of them got at least one piece in the show. And I don't know if folks at home realize this, but every time we do these exhibitions, we bring in a juror that is outside of the region, but still, you know, close by in Appalachia. And the jury is also blind. So, you know, Mary doesn't know what your name is. She doesn't know, you know, the kind of work that you make. She just picks whatever calls to her. And it was really fun. It's always fun experience to see how the different jurors approach making choices.
I would have liked to have watched someone else do the jurying.
Totally. Well, on that note, I think that we can go ahead and we're going to announce some of the award winners. So Deb, do you want to share your screen? Deb's on the other side of our screen here. All right, so we're going to announce the award winners and the purchase prizes tonight, which is very exciting. So I'm going to start with our purchase awards. So every year we receive support for this exhibition in the form of purchase awards, where folks will come and they will commit to buying a piece to the show. And it's always really interesting and cool to see their selection process too, right? So the first purchase award is the Emily B. Kyle Purchase Award, and that goes to Amber Ann Paulo for A Question of Judgment. Congrats, Amber. Usually there's, you know, loud applause, but today it's just me and Mary. Okay, so the second purchase award, which is the Johnson Family of Restaurants Purchase Award, goes to Mike Loy for Summer at Seven Islands.
Yay.
Congrats to y'all. Those works have found wonderful homes. That's amazing. So next we have 2 awards of merit, each for $250, and they're in no particular order. So the first goes to Adrienne Dye for her painting Fall Tapestry, which is beautiful. Y'all have got to see this piece in person. The colors are amazing. Congrats, Adrienne. The second award of merit goes to Kathleen Jenke for her Pine Needle Basket River Bottom. Congrats, Kathleen. This is also an incredible piece. Y'all got to see in person. And then our Best of Show award this year goes to Amber Ann Paulo for her sculpture Summer's Inn. Congrats, Amber. This piece is also beautiful. The photo is a little deceiving because it's pretty large. So last, we're doing something a little special this year because it's our 20th anniversary for this show. This year we were trying to figure out what we could do to really celebrate this show. And I'm really excited to say that we got together and put a committee together, and we are selecting a piece from this show to purchase to bring into our permanent collection here on campus. So if y'all have ever been to campus and seen some of our permanent collection shows, y'all know that our collection has over 1,000 objects in it. It's a really in-depth and incredible collection that shows all sorts of mediums by so many artists nationally. And we really wanted to make sure that we started to take in more local representation into our collection this year. So we're really excited to announce this permanent collection purchase award. And this year it's going to go to Frances Fox for her piece Sunset. Congrats, Frances. We're so excited to have this piece. It's a beauty. Y'all have to see it in person. You got to see it all in person. So thank y'all so much. Congrats to all of our award winners. So at this point, we're going to take some questions if y'all have them. And I'm going to start out because Deb and I have some fun questions that we wanted to start out with. So for Mary, and if y'all have questions for Mary, please put those in the Q&A bar. So Mary, how did you decide to approach jurying the show? What were you looking for? How did you approach it?
I wasn't real sure when I started out exactly how I was going to approach it. I kind of looked online to look at other juror shows and what they looked for when they chose pieces for the show. And when I went in and started looking at the artwork, I mean, I don't know, I think I told you once whenever I was in there that some of these pieces just, I don't know, they just made me want to sing, I guess, or everything so related to the Appalachian area, the paintings, the ceramics, the clay, the weaving, everything just tied right back to the Appalachian area. And I don't know, I just I look for, I guess, the quality, the time that I might anticipate went into creating that piece of artwork.
Mhm.
And just the imagination that some of the pieces, the imagination that it took to come up with that piece. Um, it it was a first time deal for me, so it was a new experience, and I hope that the artists and the artisans and the pieces get the attention that they so deserve. They're great pieces. They're awesome artists, and I appreciate their work.
Yeah, totally. I think that leads me into another question that I'm being a little selfish here, y'all, because I had a couple questions too. Deb and I did. But that leads me into another question we have, which is like, what are your thoughts on, especially now that you've had this experience of seeing so many different types of mediums in one room and having to make choices like that? What are your thoughts on Appalachian craft? Our regions are so close to each other and overlap in a lot of ways. And I would love to hear any general thoughts you have about Appalachian craft.
I guess if I speak about what I know best, which is my basketry and the fact that it started out as a utilitarian had utilitarian purposes. It also is reflected in the other art that we had now, the weavings, the I don't know. It's just that it's gone from utilitarian to art, and a lot of the resources. Well, for me, the resources are really being depleted, and it's so hard to be able to get what you need to create a work of art. It's a challenge. And in our day and age now, just finding the time to sit down and be creative is a challenge.
Yeah.
And so the Appalachian artistry and traditions, at least we're keeping it alive and continuing that and teaching our youngsters, art, and that it's not anymore. It's not just going on your laptop and downloading and doing everything with technology anymore. That you can still actually go out and create art with your hands and your imagination and little hard work, and something beautiful comes out of it. I think that the folks of the Appalachian area that are continuing to do this are, I don't know, I applaud them. I appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, and I can't remember what the actual percentage is, but I think that this, like the Eastern Tennessee, West North Carolina region has like one of the highest numbers of makers and artisans in a specific area in the whole United States. Like I think that someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have definitely read that somewhere, that there is just the most consolidated amount of makers in this area. And I think this show has always served to show that that is true.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then if you look at our area, the beauty of our natural surroundings, it affects you. It's part of what makes me want to create and continue doing what I'm doing. It's just we're surrounded by natural beauty, Mother Nature. It's got to inspire.
Mm-hmm. I think that's interesting to think about too, because even some of the more, considered contemporary pieces in the show, like there's a comic book by Logan Szymanowski in the show, and it's a comic book, right? But even it is so influenced by like its natural surroundings and nature. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that even as you get into more contemporary, methods of making, you can still see how important that is to people in this area.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's a great contributing factor. And right, I agree.
So I've got a viewer question, and I'm going to phrase this in a way that I think could be more applicable to everybody. But so Adrian Dye wants to know how you approach. It's so hard to even approach trying to narrow down that many pieces to put a show together. How did you then narrow them down further in making award selections? And for everyone at home listening, this is different for everybody. So because Mary does it one way doesn't mean that everyone does it this way. It's totally based on the juror. But Mary, I'm interested too, like how you even narrowed it down further.
That was so hard. So hard. I had my top picks, and I would walk by them and look at them again, and the ones that kind of jumped out at me, I just kept having to eliminate a few pieces. Well, tell you the truth, right down when it come down to the last 5 or 6 picks, I was about ready to just flip a coin because it was hard.
Yeah,
really hard. There's just so many great artists out there, and their work just shows how much they appreciate and love what they do.
mm-hmm.
And so I guess it was just the pieces that spoke to me that really drew my attention to them or pulled me to them, or I don't know what it was. But just getting it down to to 5 or 6 choices was it was a job.
Yeah, it's a huge job. And especially when you're looking at so many different types of artwork too. I mean, for those folks who have came and seen the show in person, there's we've got 6-foot paintings, and then we've got little tiny needle felted birds. I mean, it's wild, like the difference and the variety of mediums that you have to consider. It's not just like walking into a room full of clay. There's so much.
I had to familiarize myself a little bit more on some of the different mediums that were there. So it was a learning process for me. And I did learn a lot about mediums that I'd never really been familiar with,
Mm-hmm.
and the time and the effort and the, I guess just how much was involved in creating some of the things. So I appreciate your help in at least informing me of processes that were involved in creating the pieces.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue. With all the experiences that you have, I mean, you're an artist, you've been a member of the military, you're a mom, you're so many things to so many people. How do your experiences, or how did your, just your personal experiences in life affect the way that you approached work, or even how you approach your own work?
I guess after, 30, 40 years of doing all this stuff, when I finally take the time to sit down and do what I really want to do, whether it's the pottery or the basketry or the gardening, learning about it. The more involved I became in basketry, the more I learned about it, the more history, the more it tied to my culture. the more it tied to traditions, the more it tied into the myths and the legends. And I guess just all of that coming together made me more appreciative of the knowledge that had been passed to me. I've been around baskets all my life. My mom made baskets to put food on the table for us when she was growing up, when we were growing up. And like I said before, it's gone from that utilitarian purpose now to an art form. And as I'm learning and getting better at it, as I keep going, and the more it's the knowledge that adds to the creation of the piece. I mean, even like within pottery, yes, you can go back and look at archaeological and a lot of information that's out there on it. But then I started getting into some of the myths and the legends and listening to them, and how the Amelie and the mud dauber, how she even figured out to take clay from a riverbank to make a vessel that was resistant to fire and could hold water. There's so much of what I do that ties back to my culture and to my history, and so much evidence that goes back to 10,000 years ago that we were doing this, along with other tribes and other peoples, whether it was in South America or Egypt or wherever in this world that they were learning to do and create too. I guess it's the culture and the history that ties it all together for me to produce a piece of artwork today.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, but as someone who's trained in photography, which is one of the youngest mediums out there, I am just always infatuated with the history that all of these other craft mediums hold. Like you walked into Arrowmont to do the jury, you and Betty, and if anyone's been to Arrowmont and been in the lounge, you've probably seen the giant kind of print of this like serpent hanging up, and I think a class got together and made all of the components for that. But the second you walked in, you called the myth right there, and it was so neat to hear that.
Uktena.
Yeah.
The serpent. Yeah. It's Arrowmont's amazing. I just love it over there.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was just really neat to hear that perspective on it. It was so cool. So I have another question. Okay, this is a great question, actually. I think Debbie in the audience asked this. Do you think that this experience as a juror will affect your own studio practice?
I think so. I think so. I'm not going to be able to put into words right now just exactly how it's going to fit and tie in, but any great experience comes back to or motivates you to do some things different or better, or I don't know. It'll come back.
Yeah, gotta let it sink in and marinate, but it'll come forth at some point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a room surrounded by that much art, it'd be hard not to.
I really like having little classes here, little whether it's a pottery class or a basket class, and we did just small ones, but being able to sit down and work with other artists and share stories or ideas or learning new techniques or methods or something, being able to sit in the room with folks and create something, that I wished everybody could share. You learn so much. You don't even know. I don't even know how much I don't know, but whenever I'm around folks, it's always great.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely miss. That's one of the most magical things about being at places like Arrowmont or other craft schools or places where skills are being shared like this, is that even just walking, and I've just walking into a classroom, not being a student, you can sense that just walking in, and you can feel the energy going in a room where people are learning not only from instructors but from each other.
From each other.
Yeah,
From
it's
each other.
magic.
Also, I guess a lot of the culture and history that ties into all of the Appalachian artists, if we don't share what we know and share techniques and things like that, a lot of our Appalachia traditions we don't want to lose them. We don't want to lose them. If it's caning chairs, if it's making brooms, if it's making baskets, it needs to be shared, and otherwise our Appalachian traditions are we don't want to lose them. We want to keep them.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite classes to walk into, are the ones where folks are making brooms or they're weaving baskets, or they're throwing on the wheel. Like those classes. And I mean, I'm from West Virginia and I've lived in Appalachia my whole life, and those ones always feel like those ones get me,
I know.
And you were telling me while you were here that your grandson had introduced you to hydro dipping.
Hydro dipping.
Yeah, and y'all were collaborating. He was taking some of your pottery and hydro dipping it, which I'm dying to see pictures.
Oh, I'll send you some.
That sounds so cool.
Mm-hmm. And he does pottery too, so if I can keep him, new modern technology artist, he's figuring out another way to do things. I love it.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, to be able to take, a historic process and put such a modern, funky spin on it, that's so neat.
And if anyone has any river cane stands out there, holler at me.
Any other contests this year? So I don't think we're going to have any more like submission-based shows, if that's what you mean. Usually we can make like one of those work a year. And for folks who might be interested in this show in the future, this is a biennial show. So every other year is when we do this. So be looking out for information on the 21st Sevier County Biennial in 2022.
I hope that other organizations or other counties will maybe pick up and start doing more exhibitions and I guess highlight the artisans in their areas. I've even talked to a couple of folks over here saying, hey, this is a great thing. We should try it over here and get some recognition for the artists out there.
I absolutely agree. Yeah. Okay, so I've got some other questions. This is a great one that I think maybe a lot of people are interested in hearing more about. And I know that the answer might be weird because of the pandemic right now and it's hard to plan anything. But Charlotte wants to know where folks, if you teach classes in basketry, and if so, how people can find out more about that.
I have a webpage, Recovering Traditional Cherokee Delicacies and Artisan Supplies. Also, authenticallycherokee.com keeps keeps a lot of information out there on the internet, I guess. I'm not as technology savvy, so I don't always do what I need to on my website, but and another organization is the National Basketry Association. They have websites and web pages, and I'm sure Arrowmont has. You have your catalogs out, so you have classes over there.
Well, if someone's interested in specifically taking one with you, do you have anything like that planned right now, or are you waiting to see how this pandemic turns out?
We're waiting to see how the pandemic turns out. We
Yeah.
have had a couple of classes at Sequoia Birthplace Museum, but this past one got canceled. So may even keep in contact with them there. And whether it's me or another basket weaver, they have had several classes over the last few years.
All right, I've got another really good question for you. Is there a place that you sell your basketry work? Where can people find your work specifically?
I have some work at the Koala Arts and Crafts Mutual here in Cherokee. I don't know if I have anything at the museum. We do a lot of sales on the Authentically Cherokee site, and I sell out of the gallery here.
Okay, so I'm seeing a question from James. So yes, I will be listing. So after tonight, tomorrow, the online portion of the exhibition is going to go live on our website. And that's where you'll be able to see all the people that were accepted into the show and a breakdown, because I can't remember off the top of my head, how many pieces were submitted and how many pieces were accepted. So you'll be able to see that breakdown on the website starting tomorrow. Let's see. How do we select jurors for the biennial? So there's a committee of us here at Arrowmont who are just, all of us, I won't say all, a lot of us here on staff are artists in our own right in a lot of different mediums. And so, we are always kind of keeping tabs on the artists that we admire, especially in this region. And we'll put a list together and go from there. So that's kind of how we go about choosing jurors. And so, jurors can be a lot of different people. They can be people in academia or outside of academia. They can be people in craft schools or not in craft schools. They could be just studio artists. There's a lot to consider when choosing a juror, and we're always got our eyes open for folks. So I hope that answers your question a little bit. Okay, I've got a question from Nick. Let's see, he says the show's spectacular and is so welcomed and loved on campus by staff. That's true. As an incredible basket weaver yourself, what was it like to see some of the elements found in basket weaving, like working with natural materials, vessel making, and traditional hand techniques in the submissions you saw across the other mediums?
I guess just weaving is weaving. It's something that all people have done in the past for centuries and centuries and stuff. But to see it incorporated in, I mean, like weaving, even with the scarves and the vests, it's some of the same techniques, different materials.
Mm-hmm.
But to see folks use it in a new and different way. Well, I don't know, the scarf weavings and the garment weavings.
Yeah,
that's been done for since we started wearing clothes, I guess. But it's just good to see new, different techniques and people trying something out and figuring it out, and
mm-hmm.
And creating something for the rest of us to enjoy.
Yeah, totally. Well, Mary, thank you so much for your time. I think that we answered a ton of questions. So thank y'all to everyone who had a hand in making this show great, and to everyone who's participated in the past 40 years with us in this exhibition. That is so incredible. I know there's a lot of y'all out there that have been putting work into this show for a long, long time. And so I just want to say thank y'all, and thank you to our sponsors, and especially thank you, Mary, for coming out here and wearing your mask all day and looking at all of this artwork and making really hard choices. We really appreciate you. We appreciate your time. And, we're just thankful that we could be here, even if it's only virtually. So again, after tonight, the online exhibition is going to go live on our website. So be sure to check that out. You're going to find all the information about the show, the breakdown. You're going to see a bio on Mary. You'll be able to find more information about her, and you'll be able to see photographs of all of the work in the exhibition. And something else that we're doing that's new this year is that we have put all of the work in this show that is for sale on our website. So if you're interested in buying a piece from the show, you can do it all online. And that's been a really awesome thing that we've been able to put together this year. So I highly encourage y'all to take advantage of that. So if you have any questions about the show, give us a call. You can go on our website and book an appointment to come see the show in person. And you'll get a confirmation email from me confirming that the time and date is good for us and for you. So please, if you can, come out and see this show. It's really beautiful. And it's beautiful to see in person.
Greetings to you all from sunny California. I'm on Arrowmont.
This is great.
I'm sorry?
I said I feel like a radio DJ taking a caller. Go ahead.
Oh, right. Well, you're doing a great job, Kelsey. I just wanted to say that I am passionate about Arrowmont. It's a long way for me to travel to a lot of these. So I really appreciate Mary and Kelsey. You guys are terrific. And this is the first exhibition of the juried exhibition I've been able to attend. So silver linings in all of this. And thank you both. And it was a great show. I can't wait to see I'm going to go on the online purchasing right away.
Awesome. Thanks, Debbie.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. So we really appreciate y'all. At this point, we're going to end the program by playing the full video footage of the gallery. So if you want to see that walkthrough video, stay tuned. Otherwise, stay safe and stay creative. We hope to see y'all this summer.
Let me close by saying that I really appreciate seeing all the art, and I appreciate the artists for taking the time and the effort to submit their pieces for everybody to enjoy. I thank you, the staff. Kelsey, you guys are great over there. I appreciate you. Folks, make an appointment and go see the show. And hey, maybe I will run into one of you over there. I look forward to it.
Yep. Bring your mask and come see some artwork.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Deb.
Thank you, Deb. Great job.
Yep. Well, y'all, that's all we have. Thank you. I got to catch up a little in the chat and the comments. Thank y'all so much for your kind words, and especially to even all the folks out there who live in out there nationally, you know, outside of this area. Thanks for joining us. And we hope that y'all can come see the show, and we hope to see y'all this summer for workshop season.
Yep. COVID, go away.
That's a wrap, y'all. Bye. Bye, Mary.
Bye-bye.